Trump fires 17 independent watchdogs plus President Donald Trump's tour around the country, confirmations of Pete Hegseth, Kristi Noem, and the latest on immigration reform. Anna Moneymaker, Getty Images. In a late-night Friday move, President Donald Trump fired at least 17 independent watchdogs, known as inspectors general, at multiple federal agencies, sources familiar with the move told ABC News. The conversations about ousting these government watchdogs began during Trump's transition back to the White House. While inspectors general can be fired by the president, it can only happen after communicating with Congress 30 days in advance, and in 2022 Congress strengthened the law requiring administrations to give a detailed reasoning for the firing of an IG. President Donald Trump speaks to reporters after signing a series of executive orders in the Oval Office of the White House on Jan. 23, 2025, in Washington, D.C. Anna Moneymaker, Getty Images. There isn't yet have a complete list of all the IGs impacted, but at least one high-profile watchdog, Justice Department IG Michael Horowitz, did not receive notice that he was fired as of yesterday evening. Horowitz is an Obama appointee and has issued reports that have been critical of both the Trump and Biden administrations. The current law also mandates that any acting IGs must come from within the IG community, though it's unclear whether the Trump White House believes they need to follow that aspect of the law. The inspectors general were blindsided by emails they received Friday night from Sergio Gore, the director of the White House Presidential Personnel Office, according to a source with knowledge of the firings. "I am writing to inform you that due to changing priorities your position is terminated, effective immediately," read the emails reviewed by ABC News. Many of the IGs had met with Trump transition officials at their agencies and had productive conversations with the incoming administration, the source said. Senator Chuck Grassley said Saturday that Congress was not given the required 30-day notice. While talking to reporters aboard Air Force One Saturday evening on his way from Las Vegas to Miami, Trump classified the firings as a common thing to do. "Well, I did it because it's a very common thing to do. Not all of them, like Horowitz, were keeping." He continued, "It's a very standard thing to do, very much like the U.S. attorneys." Sen. Chuck Grassley speaks at the Senate Finance Committee confirmation hearing for Scott Bessent, President-elect Donald Trump's choice to be Secretary of the Treasury, at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., Jan. 16, 2025. Ben Cardis, AP. "There may be good reason the IGs were fired. We need to know that if so. I'd like further explanation from President Trump," Grassley said in a statement given to ABC News. Regardless, the 30-day detailed notice of removal that the law demands was not provided to Congress. More, Trump testing limits of presidential power, but experts say his flex might not stick. Grassley told ABC News earlier this week that the president must tell Congress before removal. First of all, to remind that our inspector general can't be removed from office until the president, and that's any president, not just Trump. So this is a message to all these presidents: you've got to tell Congress a month ahead of time the reasons for removing them, Grassley said. He added, "And the other thing is that inspector generals are expected to be independent of political pressure, independent of the head of the agency, and to make sure that the law is enforced and money spent appropriately, and there shouldn't be any political pressure against any of his work." In a letter to the White House Friday, Mike Ware, the Small Business Administration Inspector General and chair of the Council of the Inspectors General on Integrity and Efficiency, said the firing of the independent watchdogs over email is not legally sufficient to dismiss presidentially appointed, Senate-confirmed inspectors general. The letter, obtained by ABC News, goes on to explain the removal process codified in the 2022 amendments to the Inspectors General law. The requirement to provide the substantive rationale, including detailed and case-specific reasons, was added to better enable Congress to engage on and respond to a proposed removal of an inspector general in order to protect the independence of inspectors general, Ware wrote. In floor remarks Saturday morning, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer ripped into the Trump administration for the move, saying that the dismissals are a possible violation of federal law. "These firings are Donald Trump's way of telling us he is terrified of accountability and is hostile to facts and to transparency," Schumer said. Republican Sen. Joni Ernst launched a bipartisan IG caucus just 10 days ago. Senator Richard Blumenthal, D-Con, a member of the newly minted group, told ABC News he'll be looking to his Republican colleagues on that panel to take some sort of action. "We have a group, and it is bipartisan, that is supportive of inspectors general, and I think it is a real test of whether they are willing to let loose an unchecked surge of corruption and waste," he said. Reaction among Republican senators was mixed. Texas Sen. John Cornyn deferred to Grassley when asked for comment. "I think we just take it one step at a time and try to understand what the rationale was," he said. Senator Rand Paul, RKY, said he believes many of the inspectors general do need to be replaced and that Trump ultimately has the power to do so. But he noted there may be a process that needs to be followed. Senator Susan Collins of Maine, who helped to pass the legislation in 2022 that strengthened the law requiring administrations to give a detailed reasoning for the firing of an IG, said she was frustrated by Trump's move. "I don't understand why one would fire individuals whose mission is to root out waste, fraud and abuse," Collins said. "So this leaves a gap in what I know is a priority for President Trump, so I don't understand it." Senator Susan Collins speaks during a Senate Intelligence Committee confirmation hearing in Washington, D.C. January 15, 2025. Some Republican senators who have been staunch supporters of Trump, however, praise the firings. Trump administration testing system to message all federal workers. Senator Tommy Tuberville, R. said he's all for it when asked about Trump's move to dismiss the inspectors general. "We need to clean house. I mean, if they're not for this country to move on down the road," he said. Senator Mark Warner, DVA, however, said the firing of the IGs was one more example of the lack of respect for the rule of law. "He seems to be trying to throw a monkey wrench into the kind of any independence left in our government," Warner said of Trump. "The whole idea of inspector generals is to have that independent check. Who is going to take those jobs going forward?" Later Saturday, the ranking Democrats on the House committees sent a letter to Trump strongly condemning the firing of several inspectors general. "Your actions violate the law, attack our democracy, and undermine the safety of the American people," the group wrote. "Firing inspectors general without due cause is antithetical to good government, undermines the proper stewardship of taxpayer dollars, and degrades the federal government's ability to function effectively and efficiently," they added. ABC News' Lauren Peller, Devin Dwyer and Ivan Pereira contributed to this report.
If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and leave a comment below. See you next time.